What's up guys, Mr. Dan here, back again with another one. The last few videos you got to look at a DVD cover for the majority of the video. I own neither one of these films, so today you get to look at me. Recently I watched Magic on Tubi with some commercial interruptions. That was my first time ever seeing that film, which haunted me when I was a child. The commercials did anyway. And I recently just rewatched the movie Pin, 1988 Canadian film, on the Newcastle After Dark channel. It's a great channel. They have one movie a month. Highly recommend it. Every month I at least put something on Instagram about their selection. They've had a lot of great films, a lot of TV movies, Dark Knight of the Scarecrow, Legend of Lizzie Borden, Home for the Holidays, The Evil. They've had movies like Evil Speak, and this month they had Pin, and of course both those films are about dummies and ventriloquism to a degree, different types of dummies. And I've been on a whole dummy kick lately. I don't know why. I go on these tangents, but I still haven't watched this, but I got the this Tales of the Uncanny documentary from Severn, and I wanted to watch every movie on the cover, so I had to watch Dead of Night, which is one of the original ventriloquist dummy scary stories. And so I watched that. There's also a really good Alfred Hitchcock Presents episode with Jessica Tandy. I don't recall the name of it. And if you want to get into dolls, I mean, that's a whole other thing, you know, Talking Tina, the Twilight Zone episode. But these two involve ventriloquism, so I thought I'd just talk about them briefly. Editing Mr. Dan here. And the other reason why I decided to include both of these movies together is that recently I've been watching a lot of reviews on the Horrific Nightmares JM channel, and Jason from that channel, he has Fats the Dummy from Magic. You know, that's his icon, and it's in his intro. And he also, by the way, on my Instagram, I think it was, you know, naturally, Jason being Jason, he's such a movie fan, he's seen Pin. You know, not a lot of people have. Not many, well, some people have, but that's the other reason why I decided to put these together. Kind of very minimal description with no spoilers. I highly recommend both of them. Yeah, Magic, I mean, it's haunted me forever. You know, way in the back of my mind, I knew I'd watch it. The commercial just scared the hell out of me when I was a kid. Probably didn't help that at one point in my childhood, I had these marionettes hanging in my closet with these giant heads. That maybe I'll tell that story sometime. But yeah, that scared the hell out of me. Finally saw it. What a great film. What a great film. You know, Anthony Hopkins plays a magician who's not, kind of down on his luck. There's a scene in the beginning where he's trying to get his magic act going in a nightclub. He's playing card tricks, and some of the reactions from the audience. I mean, there's people over here just cracking up, not even paying attention to him. A couple people are just giving him these kind of looks, and they give him a chance for about a minute and a half, and then they just turn around and go back to what they're doing. So then he introduces a dummy named Fats into the act, and his agent, played by Burgess Meredith, brings in a reporter in the beginning, played by David Ogden Stiers, with hair. Burgess Meredith doesn't have much hair, but David Ogden Stiers does. And just because he thinks this is the next big thing, and it starts out very awkwardly, just like last time, but then the Fats, the dummy, starts to interact with him, and they just kill everybody. They slay everybody. So the agent, played by Burgess Meredith, his last name is Green. I forget his first name. He's planning on taking this big time, like, you know, late night talk shows like Carson and things like that. But he's got to have Anthony Hopkins submit to a physical, including a mental health exam, and he won't do it. So he basically takes a cab out into the countryside, and even though it's off season, he books a hotel in a kind of like a, I don't know, I guess like maybe a bed and breakfast somewhere, and it's run by an old high school crush of his, played by Anne Margaret, and they sort of rekindle things and reconnect, and her husband is away. Eventually he comes back, and he's played by Ed Lauder in one of those roles that is like, he's like so perfect for you don't even notice him. He's bald too, by the way. And he's got the dummy there, he's cracking them up. Eventually the agent shows up, finds him because he tried to take steps to hide his location. And will he run away with Anne Margaret? Won't he run away? Is his grip on sanity slipping? Is there a supernatural element to his relationship with the dummy or not? And that's really about all I'm going to say. There is a scene I just want to mention where the agent kind of starts to think, hey, I know why you skipped out on the mental health exam. You've got some issues here. You need to get some help. And he says, oh, no, I'm fine. So he goes, I'll tell you what, let's talk about it, but put the dummy down for 5 minutes. And that 5 minutes, I mean, the acting between Burgess Meredith and Anthony Hopkins is just like fantastic. I mean, we know Burgess Meredith from certain roles. He is fantastic. And it's such a good scene. You can probably guess how it goes, but great film. Really enjoyed it. Is there a supernatural element or not? That seems to be the attraction to most of these dummy stories. The next movie, Pin, was, like I said, on the Newcastle After Dark channel. I had seen it probably twice before, stumbled on it years ago, and I just thought, it is like the strangest movie. My God, is it weird. And it makes you uncomfortable. It is like a psychological horror movie. Now the boys on Newcastle After Dark will introduce the film, tell you who's in it, a little bit about it. They'll come in halfway through the film, discuss what has occurred so far. In this case, they were discussing just the absolute strangeness of it. And their comments are always insightful. For example, this was directed by Sandor Stern, based on a story by Sandor Stern. No, based on screenplay by Stern, but based on a story by Andrew Niederman, who was a ghostwriter for V.C. Andrews. And you could start to see some of the connections. Because there's a brother and sister in this movie that have a relationship that's a little uncomfortable at times. And then at the end, they'll come and discuss it and wrap up. And boy, they really killed it this month. It was a great episode, so I highly recommend you watch that. And basically the story is, you have a very sort of uptight, strict family. The mom is a clean freak. The dad he's not terrible, but you got to mind your P's and Q's. He comes in, you got to say your prayers, he kisses you goodnight, he gives you a little math quiz before bed, that kind of thing. He's the town doctor, one of the doctors in town. He's got an anatomically correct dummy in his office. So this dummy is very different than most of the dummies you see in movies and shows, because it's life size. And he's got a towel over the naughty bits, and he uses the dummy to put his patients at ease, his juvenile, his patients at ease. And the kids hang out at the office a lot. And I have to say, like, there's 3 sets of actors that play the brother and sister, Leon and Ursula. And this movie should get some kind of special award for the casting, because the transition between the actors from different ages, I'm saying this awkwardly, is the most flawless you'll ever see. It's like perfect. I mean, it's almost like they stopped production and waited 6 years and then resumed again. I mean, it's very believable. But anyway, the mid-range kids, who are played by Stephen Bednarski and Michelle Anderson, are kind of trying to stay out of trouble. Ursula, the sister, is starting to get curious about sex, and she gets caught with a magazine, and she starts talking about what it's like for the parents to do it, and it's like, oh my gosh. And then what I like about this movie is, what I noticed this time is, not only is it strange, but it's such a well-made movie. It's well-paced, well-executed, and when they transition from the kids that are in the middle age to the teenagers, which is the majority, late teenagers, which is the majority of the movie, the way they do it is she's starting to get interested in sex. Then they flash forward to a high school dance. They don't set it up with kind of an establishing shot or anything like that. And and Leon is looking for his sister. He catches her in the back seat with a member of the football team. And it's just, the conversation they have on the way home is just so cringy, you know. So anyway, she gets pregnant. Father takes her to the office on Sunday to get an abortion and brings Leon with her. And you know, the guys, the management, that's who they're called on the show, Newcastle After Dark, they were just as dumbfounded as I am right now. I mean, and the father is mostly just put out. He's like, now I have to be at the office on a Saturday. And by the way, this is Terry O'Quinn from, Lost, the stepfather, who's fantastic. Anyway, eventually the kids are on their own, and I guess they flash forward a little bit, same actors. And Pin, at one point they go to the office by themselves, by the way, to talk to Pin without Dad. Okay, and Pin is answering back. And I won't really get into what could be or whether or not there's a supernatural element. I really want you to see this for yourself. But at any rate, Leon eventually brings Pin home and starts talking to him and treating him like a member of the family. Ursula gets a job at the library, meets a boy, brings him home. They introduce him to Pin, and his reaction is, what do you think his reaction is? And by the way, they have taken steps to now make Pin look even more human, and he's wheeling him around in a wheelchair that is motorized. It is nuts, and the sister just kind of buys into that. And what I like about it is they don't introduce a lot of, okay, so there's also an aunt that gets involved at one point, which is very believable because for reasons. But what I like about it is they don't find artificial reasons to bring people to the house to get killed. There is one kind of scene that if you just watch that 5 minutes, you might think it was from a slasher type film, but that's not the kind of film this is. And it's more of a psychological horror, and it's really good, and things kind of build up to a really good climax. The music was very contemporary for the time. I liked it because it reminds me of film scores from that era. It wasn't super special or anything. I think the score for Tourist Trap, the first minute you're like, what the heck is this? It's so original, But so this was maybe kind of standard. There's one car accident. It's a little, it's okay. It's not, but this isn't a Mad Max movie. You know what I mean? It's neither here nor there. It's really a good movie, apart from being just strange. Watch it with people that like strange movies, and check out Magic on Tubi, and tell me what you guys think of both of these films in the comments. And if you go to the Newcastle After Dark video on YouTube, you'll find me in the comments. I'm always in there. So leave a comment there as well. Okay, later guys.